Hello, my name is Daniel Yuck. Thank you for watching today. I appreciate your time and support. In today's video, I want to share with you how I go about creating larger size stencils. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using this Trueskin torso fake skin right here. I have done an in-depth review on this and I will card that for you along the way so you can check out that review. I will also leave my Amazon affiliate links for you in the description below so you can check out the gear that I'm going to be using in this video on your end. Should you have any questions at any point throughout this video, I'm going to encourage you to drop a comment down below. I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring my bell as I will be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do have social medias under the same name as my YouTube channel. I have Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok all under Daniel Yuck. I would appreciate the support over there as well. With that being said, let's get right on into this. Where I begin when it comes to larger size stencils like this, in this instance it's going to be a custom design tailored specifically to this Trueskin torso canvas right here. The first thing that I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to get the measurements of the canvas that I'm going to be working on. This measurement process right here is very, very important, and I feel this is probably the first step that we should take. Identify the canvas and then get the measurements. So I'm going to measure from this end right here all the way on down to right here, the entire length, and then I'm going to measure the width from right here. So the measurements for this is 17 by 33, 17 inches in width, 33 in length right here. That is the size measurements, or those are the dimensions that I'm working with for this specific size canvas. The idea is though, identifying your canvas size and knowing the measurements before we even begin the design process. Now that we know the canvas is 17 inches in width and 33 inches in length, I can use that information and plug that into Procreate. Let's switch on over to a different screen and let's get on over to the digital aspect of creating this design. This canvas is a blank canvas within Procreate. The dimensions for this canvas is 8.5 in width and 11 in height. So 8.5 inches in width, 11 inches in height. Just to confirm, that is the dimensions for this specific canvas right here. Now, the reason why I am personally using 8.5 inches in width and 11 inches in height is because that is the exact same size of my stencil paper. So I'm using the dimensions and working with what I have. So for example, allow me to show you, this right here is a standard size sheet of Spirit stencil paper, and this is 8.5 by 11, and this is a digital version of this paper right here. Whatever is on here is going to transfer almost identically to this size Spirit stencil paper right here. If you're not sure how to create a certain size canvas within Procreate, make sure you're on your home screen. You're going to want to hit the plus, and then you're going to want to navigate to this little icon right here. Select that, and then you can select any dimensions that you want, and just make sure you're on the appropriate format. So down here I'm going to select inches, and then here I'm going to type in 8.5, and then the height I'm going to type in 11, and then you can select as many layers as you'd like, as you can see right here. So the dimensions have to be appropriate to the gear that we are using out here in the real world. That right there is bridging the gap. That is how we go about connecting and lining everything up as closest to the canvas as we can, is by using the correct dimensions for the canvas that we are using. So now that we know this canvas is 8.5 inches by 11 inches, we can begin building the design. So the first thing that I did was I brought in a digital version of the torso just to guide me with the shape along the way and get it as close as I can to this canvas that I'm using out here in real world. Keep in mind, we are creating this from digital, which is why I keep saying real world and digital. So with that being said, moving front, I have the layer of my torso. From here, I begin to build the design, and I really don't go outside of those boundaries. So as you can see, I created that boundary, and then I started adding all of the details and figuring out the flow and design of what I wanted. So that's basically where we're at right now. Now that I've completed the final design on the 8.5 by 11, it's actually time to convert this design into something that's more applicable to our real world situation here. In order to do that, we're going to use those measurements that we took at the beginning of the video, the 17 inches in width, 33 inches in height, and plug that into Procreate. We're going to want to make a canvas 17 inches in width, 33 inches in height. I'm now going to take these dimensions from the 17 inches in width, 33 in height, plug them into Procreate. If you don't know how to make a canvas custom to any dimension size that you need, it's very simple. Hit the plus up here, then you're going to want to hit this icon in the corner. Make sure that you're in the correct format. I'm going to select inches. I know that it's 17 in width, 33 in height, and then I'm going to hit create, and then it's going to create a digital version of the same size out here. Once I have a digital version of this canvas created and I have my design completed, I can begin to bring in my design to the digital canvas to convert it to a more appropriate size. So I have my design right here, everything is ready to go. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to the layer, I'm gonna hold my layer down, I'm gonna press select gallery, and then I'm just gonna go back into the canvas that I just created. This is the 17 by 33. I'm gonna drop it in like so. And then from here, I can begin to size it up. Each one of these tiles right here, so you can see there's 6 total, and then there's lines marking the center of the canvas. There's 6 of these total. Each one of those represents an 8.5 by 11 sheet of Spirit stencil paper. I'm just gonna bring my canvas up to the edge right here, and then just resize it as best I can like so, making it the largest that I can make it for this canvas, as this same canvas size is the same dimensions for this canvas right here. So the idea is to enlarge the design as best as I can, and from here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna want to duplicate this 6 times because I have 6 different sheets, and then each time I'm gonna remove a section of the design. So what that looks like is, for example, I'm going to start up here. I'm going to make sure that I duplicate this. I'm going to turn that layer off. I'm going to go back to the first one. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start removing the design out here. Like so, until I have just this sheet of the design. And then I'm going to repeat that all 6 times until this design is broken down into 6 individual sheets here. And again, keep in mind, each one of these sheets represents a Spirit stencil paper, which means when we print, these are the sections that are going to be printed onto each sheet. And you're just going to want to repeat that. You can zoom in as needed, and then I'm going to erase everything outside of here again until I've done this with each individual component. It is time consuming, however, this is probably one of the most cleanest ways that I figured out to get larger stencils. This works great for chest pieces, back pieces, any sort of sleeve. I found that this method gives me a really accurate result. So you get the idea. I'm going to remove all of this as well, until we have 6 different layers, and each sheet should have the part of the tattoo there. So this sheet right here is right there. As you can see, that sheet right there, and so forth until the design is completed. What I'm going to want to do now is from here, I'm going to want to take all of these and put them onto one sheet because we're going to size them back to 8.5 by 11. And what that looks like is a pretty straightforward process. So what I'm going to want to do is grab my layer, select that arrow tool, and I'm just going to drag this to here, making sure that I get it right on center. And I'm going to repeat that process with all of the other elements. And if you can't see, feel free to hide the layers behind there, but you get the idea. So you're going to want to repeat this process until all of the layers are on here, like so. Procreate actually snaps them into place, so it's not too hard, but that's the idea. Once we have the entire design on one sheet of 8.5 by 11, as you can see right here, I even have them all grouped into one individual group right here. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to carry over this entire group to an 8.5 by 11 canvas. Allow me to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to select the group. I'm just going to bring it down, select gallery. I'm going to navigate on over to 8.5 by 11 canvas, open up my layers, and then just drop them right on in there, and then let my iPad do its thing. It's going to load in the items wherever it does. As you can see, it's not the size of the 8.5 by 11, but that is perfectly fine. Now we have all of the data within an 8.5 by 11 format. All I have to do is just resize it to this 8.5 by 11. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of us are wondering why I have to bring it back in and resize it. That's because I resize the data into a bigger format, and then therefore I extracted it in that bigger format, and I can't print again the size of a 17 by 33. I don't have a printer or paper that big or long, so therefore I have to break it down into individual components. Each one of these sheets is going to represent a Spirit stencil paper. So there's going to be 6 different sheets. From here, what I'm going to do is you can always regroup them to make it easier to manage and work with. I like to do that as opposed to one by one. I would actually recommend that you do group them before you resize, so all of them are spot on the same size. and come back to this arrow tool. Where I'm going to begin is I'm going to place the designs right here in the corner, making sure that I line them up correctly. And then from here, I'm just going to size it the entire size of this paper right here. Like so. Now I have the entire design that's going to go on this canvas in an 8.5 by 11 format. What I can do from here is print these pages out and then piece them together, creating one large design. So here I have 6 sheets of Spirit stencil paper with each of one of these pages printed out on these papers right here. So you can see here's one part of the design. Here is another. We're gonna go ahead and start messing with the sizing and placement here in a bit. Here is another part of the design. And here is the bottom part of the design. Good place to start when it comes to actually piecing this design together is removing the carbon sheets, leaving the other 2 intact. And the only reason why I'm leaving the back part intact is so that way this piece of this side of the carbon isn't exposed to me. And then we'll just go ahead and work with the design like that. So fantastic, we have a little less mess to worry about at this point. Now from here, what I want to do is I'm going to start cutting out these stencils. But you can see I started trimming these kind of down to size. And then from here, I'm just going to start getting all of that correct. And then we're going to start aligning this stencil and basically building this stencil and putting it all together. So first things first is to get all of the excess stencil that we don't need cut out. So I'm going to need to cut this off. You get the idea. Same thing with these surrounding areas right here. So that's basically what we're at right now. And that's what we're going to want to do next. So I can kind of use my imagination and I can see that this is actually coming together pretty well. And in comparison to this, it looks as though we are definitely in the ballpark. It looks as though we are in the alley. At the very least, we're in the same neighborhood of the size range that we want to be for this torso here. I am going to be using this cloth medical tape here to put the stencil together. I will leave my affiliate links for you in the description below so you can check out this gear on your end. But for those who are curious, this is what I am going to be using to tape this stencil together. So allow me to zoom in a little bit. The idea is to line it up as best as I can. I'm just kind of going to start from up top and work my way down. I'm going to see which paper is going to sit up top and which one is going to sit at the bottom. These are questions that I'm essentially asking myself. And then once I feel comfortable enough and I have a good place where I want to begin putting it together, I'm going to get the tape out and then just simply apply the tape. This is pretty much a straightforward process here. I prefer to use this tape because it is very sticky and it also is flexible. So I have the entire stencil pieced together now. This is the top part. Although it may not be 110% perfect, this is 110% still workable. This is close to it. And for the stencil being this large, this is something that I'm just gonna roll with. This is the carbon face up side. And this is the side with the tape. As you can see, it is 6 different stencil papers to make up this one entire design right here. So all that's left to do now is we can cut it out, should we choose to do so. Or we can leave it like this. That's going to be artistic preference. But this is the stencil right here. This is how I go about getting these results. Here's a quick tip. Let's say your design prints a little bit blurry like so, or a little bit distorted. You can grab a piece of tape and all you have to do is go over that area with the tape and it actually picks up the design that wasn't applied by the thermal right on up. So let's check out the stencil size in comparison to the torso here. And we're about in the ballpark of where we need to be, if not exact. All I have to do from here is simply line this up, place it down, mark it up, and then be on my way to tattoo it. Other than that, this actually lined up pretty well. All that's left to do is, again, line it up. Place the stencil down as I would any other stencil and get to tattooing. That right there is how I go about creating a bodysuit. Should you have any questions at all, I encourage you to drop a comment down below and I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring my bell, as I will be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do also have social medias under the same name as my YouTube channel. I have Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, all under Daniel Yuck. I would appreciate the support over there as well. With that being said, I appreciate your time and I thank you for tuning in. You have a great day.